Another Nightelf versus Undead, and another match that also features Starshaped and WaN. Now, we've seen a lot of Starshaped actually recently on the YouTube channel. We just had the match between Starshaped and Maru, and it was really nice to see that Starshaped, one of the first Night Elves to really go away from that Keeper first style, against human at least, and spec'd heavily into a Demonhunter. Now he goes up against WaN all the way up to the top right of Concealed Hills. So WaN with this account obsolete here. And I'm a little bit curious to see how this game is going to go, because both of them play on a pretty high level. And the matchup, of course, has changed a little bit. But I really want to see if we're going to have the Keeper first again. I would actually assume that Keeper is still going to be the weapon of choice here for Starshaped. But again, he has been the one Night Elf that was a bit more experimental when it came to new hero choices after the recent patch. And both of them here referring a bit also to the Germany versus Sweden match that we just had recently. But let's see how this is gonna go here. For now, Demonhunter. It is the Demonhunter. He actually goes for the Demonhunter as the first hero, so not heading into a Keeper. The patch reduced the duration of Entangle on all levels slightly. We have Treants doing a bit less damage. Small nerfs, but again, they can add up. And apparently in this case, Starshaped just saying, okay, I need to change this a little bit and move away from that. So having also Death Knight coming in on the side of his opponent. But yeah, consider me intrigued. I want to see how this is going to work out for Starshaped. WaN, on the other hand, very similar style from what we've seen in previous games. Oftentimes in the early game, a bit more of a ghoul focus, allows him to get more wood into the game, allows him to creep a bit quicker, and makes his entire early game not as vulnerable to a Keeper entangles, which in this case he doesn't really have to deal with in the first place. But it allows him also to oftentimes take a bit quicker into tier 3, get that Lich out with the Orb of Corruption very, very quickly. But he might change his own MO once that we're seeing him realize that he's up against a Demonhunter. Demonhunter already with the +6 claws and immediately starts moving over to the top right. We have, of course, Scout Wisps in the vicinity. And now the big question, how is WaN going to react once he sees what's happening here? So we're having the Death Knight in, gets also the Dust of Appearance right away. 4 ghouls for now, can then start the attack, even getting a Ziggurat to make sure that any kind of harass is not going to hit him too hard. And with the Death Knight, immediately walks past the Demonhunter. So the blind guy, apparently not seeing the Demonhunter in the first place, therefore not getting the mana burn in, which I still assume is the level 1 talent on the Demonhunter. It's one of the annoying things when you go up against him, that you're basically drained the entire game out of your mana. So I would assume that's what we're going to see here as well. So get rid of your coils while you can. Would assume that this is exactly what one is going to do. Hit coil. Ah, Demonhunter hasn't chosen a talent just yet. Okay, so is still waiting here a bit. And yeah, in particular because of the level 1 choice on the side of the Death Knight. So cool, this is actually really reminiscent of the good old times. So basically what has happened here, neither one of the players chose the level 1 talent because they were waiting what the opponent would do. And once that WaN realized that his opponent is playing with Demonhunter and therefore likely mana burn, he didn't even go into coil because he said it's going to be pointless for me anyways in the early game. So he goes into the Unholy Aura on level 1 and will then on 2 and 3 go into coil instead, so that it doesn't really matter if the Demonhunter burns the mana away, but he can still rely on those small advantages of having the Unholy Aura on level 1. So really cool to actually see that, and just waiting that out, really liking it. More creeping going on, by the way, at the top. So while the Death Knight harasses, we are seeing experience tickling in simply because of the creep camp towards the top side of the map. So already small, tiny adjustments here. I'm really, really liking those. Nice grab on the item as well. Doesn't get the experience, but the Demonhunter was at least able to get something done. Now you might ask yourself, how exactly did he actually beat the Death Knight up to the top? And that's because of the Staff of Teleportation, teleporting onto a Wisp. But he's still not quite as fast as those ghouls because of the Unholy Aura. And WaN is really determined to get us around here. Doesn't quite get that, but he's able to take an Archer down. And the second attempt at a surround, nope, doesn't go for it. Realizes that it would be really tricky without the coil to save any unit to keep that surround up. Demonhunter would likely break through that, so instead he's just focusing on the archers. Gets level 2 now, and the coil in play, and of course immediately trying to save the ghoul. And this is also when the Demonhunter starts to more severely focus into the mana burn instead. Yeah. Demonhunter, by the way, still on level 1, but has a claws of attack and also gloves of haste, so pretty good for the auto attacks later on in the game. We're having down to, or up to the top right. Oh, another attempt to go for the surround here. Not quite working just yet. All fighting up around the tavern. Both of them, by the way, also with tech here. And another archer being attacked and going down. That's the third one already. Here comes the second hero. The Naga in play, trying to get the ghoul down. But gets surrounded nearly. Just barely blocked free. And still not completely out of the woods. And that's a full surround and a likely death of the Naga. Ghoul survives and the Naga is going to get the TP passed over and moves away. Archer... oh, gets the ghoul actually. Well done here by Starshaped. It's a bit weird still. It's always like this weird question, okay, what happens when you're in a situation where your level 1 hero is about to die? Do you commit to a town portal? Yes or no? He decided that it was worth it. Saves the Naga, double Ancient of Lore now, built after he has hit tier 2, so both of them focusing on tech. We're currently having the tech into the Black Citadel for White and Nerdy, and he has the Lich coming in as the second hero, with the Graveyard being built very, very late compared to previous games, but of course didn't really have any need for it up to now. Again, the attack here, the Creep Jack coming in too, and that's a big one actually. The Naga, again, about to be surrounded, has a Staff of Teleportation that she can use, but would have to use it immediately. White and Nerdy not really being able to close that surround properly. Finally coming in, but the immediate move away with the Staff of Teleportation. And of course, the creep also, Creep Jack not completed. Demonhunter trying to come in again, aiming for the experience here against the Rock Golem. And now, of course, that battle around the last hit once again, but the surround on the Demonhunter. The Naga coming in once again too. Demonhunter still surrounded, but likely to break through all of this here. There's not enough mana for a coil, is there? No, there's not. The stun, on the other hand, on the Demonhunter from the Rock Golem. That's a huge difference. Massive, massive change in pace. Nearly another hit coming in against the DH, and that could have potentially taken him down. A lot of ghouls have fallen here, though, and now WaN is taking a lot of damage, but is able to grab the item. Gets the Robe of the Magi, +6. That's a great pickup for him. Not only denying it to the Naga and therefore limiting the amount of Forked Lightnings that we're going to see later, but it's also going to increase the mana pool of the Lich and increase the damage output of the ranged hero as well, once that he passes it over. The creep is still continuing, and with the Tomb of Agility, it specs even more into the first main attribute that we're seeing for the Demonhunter. But the Naga still finds herself in a bit of trouble. Gets the Nova, gets the coil, moves out, Dryads in play, and that is going to force him back eventually, but he still wants the Naga, and he gets it! White and Nerdy with the hero kill. He has slowed down by the Dryads, though, and needs to try and move out of this one. Good block with a skeleton. Nicely done, making sure that the Demonhunter cannot close the distance for the few final hits, and the Dryads either for those slows. Fiend switch for White and Nerdy. Now his Fiend micro again is definitely fantastic, and he's known for it as well, but very late switch into Fiends again, and this is something we have hit in the previous games too, that he really likes to rely on ghouls in the early stages of the game and then makes that switch into Fiends a bit later, once that he has the Lich out, once he's transitioning into the Orb of Corruption play and with Focus Fire, and add statues to the mix as well. But in the early game, oftentimes trying to be aggressive with ghouls or harassing with a hero only, and then attempting to get additional experience by ghoul-only creeps. And so far that has been working out quite nicely for him. The two of them dancing around each other the entire time, and we have Starshaped now on 38 supply against 36 supply for White and Nerdy. In terms of items, nothing really too crazy for the Undead player, though. He currently looks only at that Robe of the Magi that he stole away, but nothing more than that. The Demonhunter, on the other hand, now also with a bit more scout tools in the inventory, has a Sentry Wards, and that could be a great item. Again, mana burn attempt maybe? Nah, it's a little bit too late. And the Potion of Invulnerability, full invulnerability for him, that's actually not too bad. We have Druids of the Claw now in the game as well. Going for Rejuvenation. So far he can really capitalize on it very well, but of course later on Destroyers can dispel that too. Again, level 3 on the Demonhunter. A bit of a block attempt here with the Lich. The surround nearly closing. That was a close call for Starshaped. Well done by White and Nerdy. But he is a little bit unlucky in closing these surrounds in the last few engagements. But always threatening them, and it really keeps Starshaped on his toes here. Death Knight still hasn't hit level 3. It's finally going to be the case through this creep here. But it's a huge problem if you don't have that coil on level 2. Now we're having even a Naga as the third hero, trying to force these fights a little bit more, going straight for the Druid of the Claw, and one is down as we speak. Forked Lightning coming through from Starshaped's Naga, but now the Death Knight has to retreat here. The Demonhunter, on the other hand, has to even commit to the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability to keep alive. Gets the Rejuvenation from the Druid of the Claw, but the pressure from the Undead player is still on. 45 supply for WaN and 43 for his opponent. The Naga in trouble, the second hero on the side of the Nightelf, in a huge amount of trouble right now and trying to move back, but the Death Knight isn't looking too good either. The Demonhunter actually about to fall, and he goes down, eliminated here, as we have the Death Knight starting to move in again against those Druids of the Claw. A fantastic attack from White and Nerdy with Abominations joining the fun. We're having more pressure. The Naga are able to just slow them down the entire time. And this is a huge amount of problem right now mounting here on the side of the Nightelf player, who relies only on the second hero Naga. Death Knight is low, might maybe fall, but is able to move away from the Dryad, at least for the time being. Down goes the Druid. The Dryad also dropping, and level 2 for Anaconda, Blizzard's pun in the WarCraft 3 universe. The Naga Sea Bitch on level 2 now. The Lich nearly on 3. And we're still not having that Demon Hunter back to business. Only the Naga here, Ursula for the Starshaped. And yeah, he's trying to get a bit of more damage in, but he might even just lose her once again. Forked Lightning and the coil to the face, and that is it for her. Surround as well, 28 supply against 47. And this, ladies and gentlemen, might as well be it. It is great micro here. Keep it up, well played. And this is game as White and Nerdy takes out Starshaped on Concealed Hills.